Welcome to the latest episode of Branding the Experience, where we discuss ways how we can create environments where employees actually want to come to work and customers want to keep coming back. I am Ken Bator, your host for Branding the Experience. Our subject today, it's about the full experience. Now, this comes to light from an event that I went to yesterday. My wife is a huge Los Angeles Rams fan. So I spent a little bit of money and took her to the game for her birthday yesterday. Go Rams, got the towel here. And I will say that we had an awesome time, even though her team lost and frankly looked pretty bad. But what that drove home to me is that part of the experience wasn't just the watching the team, because I've seen a lot of football live in stadiums, for many, many years at a lot of different cities, a lot of different places. But I have yet to see anything that compares to the overall experience that they put together at SoFi. Now they gotta get a couple of kinks out of there, but I understand the strategy of branding the experience. They have the big scoreboard, if you will, the big screen and so forth. And they're showing other games on before your game starts there live. Part of it is like a concert. They've got people playing music beforehand, and they've got a little concert at halftime. And I remember even joking with my wife before the Rams game even started that, we went to a concert and a football game broke out. But I really, really appreciate the fact that even though her team lost and frankly played pretty poorly, which was surprising for us, we had an awesome time because it was an overall experience. Now, granted, they need to do a little bit better with the food. They need to do a little bit better with the check-in process. If you're going to have people, have tickets, on your phone with that rolling code, then you better have devices that can click on that and let people through. They had a little problem with that. But I will say that going back to the whole premise of the show, which is not only keeping customers coming back, but having employees that actually want to be there. I will say that every employee interaction that I had was really positive. And that isn't always the case with some stadiums. Some people, treat you, kind of like a number. But even from the very beginning, when we were standing in line to get in, and the gentleman came and said, I need to check your COVID vaccination or negative test. Yeah, he could have said, hey, we need to see your test or your COVID vaccination card, and been kind of policing in that matter, almost Nazi-ish of these are the rules. But, he came up, he was obviously pleasant, and he said, welcome to SoFi, and said, can I see your ID and vaccination card or negative test? And the way that he asked, and we had already planned to show that, but the way that he asked made me want to comply because he was so nice about it. And I could go on and on about experiences that we had during the game and before the game. But my point is, and let's get to very shortly what we can learn from this, is that they get that it's not just about the game. Yeah, I will say that being a Chicago Bears fan, being from Chicago, that the experience at Soldier Field is average at best. It's a small screen. You don't see other games. The seats are kind of tight. There aren't enough restrooms. The food is just okay. It's tough to get in and out. There really isn't a great experience at Soldier Field. In fact, it's almost a pain in the ass if they don't win, because now you've had somewhat of a hassle. The experience was all about the team, and they didn't win either. So now you're really ticked off. But in this case, SoFi understands that it's about the whole experience. And it's not even just having the most technologically sound stadium in the NFL. It's about contributing to your enjoyment. Whether it's being able to get there early and see all three of the games that are being played earlier before your game in your seat and being able to watch that, that's fun. To be able to interact via the technology through tweets and texts, to be able to have quality staff that actually seem like they want to be there, from the concession stands who are all friendly to the greeting and so forth. And having an overall feeling that, hey, I want to come back here before the game even started. So how can we apply that to our unique business? Especially if we are a service-based business that is all about the experience, whether it's the restaurant or a movie theater or possibly even a bank or credit union, that we want to make people feel before they've even had a transaction that they want to be there. Maybe that's a quality greeting from the hostess at the restaurant. Maybe that's a couple of options to get your transaction done at the bank, saying that, hey, you can use this kiosk, or if you would rather talk to a human being, we have that option for you too. How can we help you today? Making sure that right from the start, much like that gentleman that came to look at our COVID cards, he made me feel welcome, like he wanted me to be there, and that it wasn't a hassle for him to be working that day, that he actually wanted to be there. That's one thing that we could take from that. And the other thing is that technology is there to enhance the human experience, not replace the human experience. Let me say that again. Technology is there to enhance the human experience, not replace the human experience. And what we can learn from that, from a restaurant or a movie theater example, is being able to get your tickets, being able to get your food a little bit quicker, maybe using an app. I know AMC has that, and I enjoy that. My wife does as well. Maybe that's, at the banking community and credit unions, a lot of them are going to ITMs, which is an interactive teller machine, rather than ATMs, which is an automatic teller machine, where you could actually see somebody's face. Even from a standpoint of live chat. I know that I've had some very positive experiences with American Express, where I've had a couple of minor issues and have been able to take care of them right on their website using their live chat. I'm not even conversing with an individual. I'm typing back and forth like text. And I find that to be a positive interaction. That's an example of technology not being in place of a human experience, but enhancing the human experience, because I feel cared for. I feel like I should be there, that you want me to be there, and you're giving me more options for a better experience. So look at ways in your unique business of how you can improve the experience, both for the employees and for your customers, clients, and members. Even if it's just one thing and it's a small thing, that can make a real difference in branding the experience at a much higher level than where you are now. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now, a word from our sponsor, Bator Training and Consulting. BTC has recently partnered with the Success Corps to offer the Podcast for Business Success package. Launching a podcast allows your business to engage directly with your established audience, strengthening an existing bond while simultaneously developing future relationships with prospects who they may have never done business with or met otherwise. Ken Bator and Sean Douglas utilize branding, culture, and strategy to increase engagement between company and customer by launching your uniquely branded, strategically designed podcast, fostering customer relations and business growth. Ken and Sean have hosted over 1,000 podcast episodes across multiple shows and channels. You can watch live, in person, or virtually as they speak at most podcast events around the country, highlighting their expertise as icons of influence in the podcasting space. Ken and Sean not only teach the art of podcasting, but are well known and respected practitioners, launching dozens of top rated shows between them and their clients. Ken is also a frequent contributor to Podcast Magazine. Rather than launching your podcast on your own, wouldn't it make sense to have not one but two icons of influence teach you how? Of course it would. So harness the power of your past to launch your future with a perfectly branded podcast. Contact BTC at info@btcinc.net today with podcast package in the subject line for more information today.